Hi everyone, my name is MJ. So this is my capstone project. So initially my project name, I was going to name this as mentor-mentee scheduling system. But then I realized that most of the features that I'm doing is from Zcao. So I'm just going to give credit to Zcao. So I call it Zcao Clone. All right. So introduction, project name, Zcao Clone, and then team member Sue, my partner. And then the objective is to simplify the meeting scheduling by enabling user to select the available time slot. And then they can also manage the guest invitation efficiently. So essentially send the link to the guest and then the guest can book whatever available time that you had. Okay, so background of the project, inspiration, suggestion from Haris right from the start. So I just copy the idea and then do it. And then my idea is that I want to solve a real world problem. So the best way to do that is to actually clone something that people is already using. So I chose Zcao Cloner, right? And then for problem statement, I would say that the traditional scheduling, they are lacking of personalization. So for example, like Microsoft Outlook, you cannot select the available time slot and then create a meeting link, for example. But the Google Calendar has a new feature now. So I'm just taking Microsoft Outlook as an example. Okay, so for the target audience, I would say that this system is for professionals, small businesses, and even like mentors or instructors, so they can create their own meetings and then send to their client or students. So it makes a positive first impression on the guest if you actually send a link to them instead of just phone call or email to schedule a meeting. Okay, so this is the background. Technical overview. So this is a tech stack that I use. This is what we have learned throughout the full stack development course. And then the third-party API that I use is NodeMailer and also Zapier. Okay, this is something new, right? And then the next is, okay, so this is the architecture of my system. So for the system flow, essentially, this is how the system works. So I'll just briefly run through it. So first of all, the user create a meeting. And then once the meeting is created, he can send the link to the guest, and then the guest can book. So after that, after you book the meeting, the backend will process everything and they can send, it will send the email and also create Google Calendar events automatically. And then this is the database schema. So for this system, I had 4 tables, and then this is the relationship between them. Essentially, this is an ERD, entity relationship diagram. Okay, next, challenges. This is a bit technical. So I would say one of the challenges is to add time interval for a date. So instead of 9 to 5, right, maybe, like people, they want some gap in between. So 9 to 12 and then 2 to 5. This I'll demo it in the live demo video later. And then integrating Zapier. So Zapier is a bit difficult to work with. I think Sue has the same problem, and then he taught me how to use it, right? And then also setting the date, time format, and time zone is also something is very challenging. And then the solution is ChatGPT. But ChatGPT wasn't enough to solve the problem. So I have to console log every data pass and then slowly guide ChatGPT for the solution. Okay, so next I think is the demo, right? Let me just open up my video. Okay, so this video I recorded with voice. So yeah, so I'll play the video.
All right, so welcome to Zcao.
Can you hear this? Check. You're muted, sorry. Can you hear?
Try again. You play.
Welcome to Zcao Clone. First of all, let us sign into the system. Here's the homepage for the user.
Can Okay, sure. So I'll just play for 2 minutes.
As you can see, I have created 3 existing meetings right here. And first of all, let us create a meeting with our own time slot. I'm just going to rename this as React Lesson 1 hour. Okay, so here's where you can customize the start and end time for each of the day. By default, it is 9 to 5 for weekdays. And then for weekend, you can also add the start time and end time if you want to. So one interesting features that I had is you can actually add a new interval if you wanted to. So let's say that you don't want 9 to 5, you want from 9 to 12, 9 to 12, and then from 2 to 5, you can actually do so. Right, so as you can see, 9 to 12 and then 2 to 5, save changes, and you should see it reflects right here. Okay, so let's hit on submit button. All right, and the meeting is created successfully. So now this is the link that you can send to your mentee, and then they can actually open up this. And this is a page for a mentee to book a meeting with me, for example. So this link is clickable, it is towards the my own personal Zoom link. And then the mentee can just fill in their name, their email, and also they can invite their friends, which is guests, if they wanted to. Hey, this is optional. It's fine if you don't want to put anything. And then just select the date is available for December 23rd. And then the time. Okay, so maybe we should select 9 a.m. Okay, so once we hit on submit, let's just wait for a while. Okay, cool. So the meeting is booked successfully. Let us check our email to see if it works. Okay, so as you can see, we have received 2 emails in 2 separate accounts. So the first email is to confirm all of the details. And then the second one is the Zapier invitation, which is connected to the Google Calendar. Okay, so one last thing I want to show is the profile page. Okay, so drop down, go to profile. So this is where I can change my profile picture. So for example, we choose Zikao, and then we change the name to MJ. Save it. Okay, so this booking page right here has reflected my latest profile picture and also my latest name. Okay, cool. So now everything is working. Let us try on the responsiveness. Okay, as you can see, it is responsive to the screen size. And then let's just edit our meeting. Okay, for example, let's change this to React. Next. So I'll leave this as it is. All right. Okay, cool. We can see that React lesson, previously it was Python, so it is now working. And we can also delete this if we wanted to. So once we click on OK, yeah, it disappeared. All right, so that is Zikao.
Okay, so that is the demo. I hope it was smooth lah. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so the features and functionality, the key features I would say is the user is able to create multiple time slots for each of the day, right? And then further enhancement, I would suggest, like in future, what we can do is to improve on the UI. So this is the official Zikao website UI. So preferably, I would like to clone this, but I find it too hard, so I'm just using Material UI library for the time picker. Okay, learning experience, knowledge gain. I now have a clear understanding of how a system works. So front end, and back end, how they connect to each other. And then I've also learned the importance of designing database at the beginning of the project, because I had to redesign the database halfway during implementation phase, and this is very time consuming. So I was, it takes time to practice. So at the beginning of the project, we should already lay out what is the architecture. So it's very easy for us to implement later. Okay, feedback. Yeah, I've also received feedback through our weekly testing, and also sometimes I discuss with my partner, which is Sue. And then some aha moment came in when we have a conversation, and then it generate better ideas to improve my system. And then in terms of personal growth, I've learned how to manage my time, and then I've also learned that communication bring idea into practicality. All right, so conclusion. Summary. So this is a 4-week project that applied front-end and back-end knowledge that we have learned throughout this bootcamp. And then it gave me the confidence to become a software developer now. In terms of resources, we have ChatGPT, #1 helper. And then from Sue, thanks a lot, YouTube videos and also documentation. And then the last slide, I have surprise for you, Haris. So this is a special thanks to our instructor, Haris, for all the guidance throughout this bootcamp. So 5 things that you did really well is #1, you have detailed slide and then clear roadmap on what to expect. So you guide us from, step by step. And then you taught us in-demand tech stack and then project to showcase to our potential employer. And then the last thing is more towards like personal improvement. So I would say you mentioned about growth mindset, which align with my interests. So personal charisma and some cool jokes. Okay, so this is the picture that I found on your LinkedIn. So basically that's it. Thank you. And yeah, this is all the links for my submission.
Okay, all right, let's give round of applause to MJ.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.